thank you for those of you who have stayed here the whole time, and welcome to those who are just joining us for this fun chat about menopause and perimenopause. My name is Cassie Smith. I'm the Senior Editorial Content Director of Supply Side. I said this again. I know you and I have been like making eye contact the whole time, but there are new people, so I had to say it. And I'm joined by Dr. Jennifer Greer. She's the Senior Director of Medical Education at Thorne. Jennifer, do you want to just give us a little brief who you are?
Sure. Well, I kind of came to this realm through maybe a different path. I have a background in education, and then I started a PhD in nutrition, exercise, and wellness, but through my own health, started seeing a naturopathic physician as my doctor, and then decided, I think I'm going to take that path instead. So I did, and I practiced for a while, and then realized what I really loved was helping educate people about their bodies, how they work, how they can improve their health, and tools you can use to do that. And the industry felt like the best place to do that. So I landed at Thorne, and here we are.
Love it. So we're gonna, guys, I keep forgetting to, I'm gonna get in trouble back there because I haven't done the slides the whole time. We are gonna talk about menopause and perimenopause today and the standout ingredients in supplements and potentially food and bev. I know that's not your thing, but we'll see. And let's just talk about, I've been on a lot of women's health panels, and menopause and perimenopause keeps coming up. And I'm interested in this sort of explosion of the category, and like what's maybe the cause of this? Is it finally because it's social media and all the kids are saying they can say things on social, like we just feel more comfortable saying vagina or menopause or any of those things? Is that what's finally like there's the courage to make things that women need?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think also for so long as women, we have felt like these are taboo topics. And it's sort of like anything where you start pulling a thread, and as that thread starts to unravel, more and more comes with it. So as women start talking about this, how they're feeling, being vocal about it, whether it's through social media, through mentorship groups, through regular, just, if you have a women's group where you hang out, people are starting to talk about this more. And as it comes up more and more people are interested in it. I think we're starting to see men being more interested in understanding how their partners, their mothers, their sisters, everyone is feeling and what they're experiencing. And it's growing and exploding from there. Thankfully, it's about time.
Yeah, agreed. So what's maybe the biggest misconception about menopause from an industry perspective that you think is important to clear up?
Yeah, I think I have two. One is probably I'll be a little more brief with than the other. It is that hot flashes are not the only symptom of menopause, and not everyone has them. So I think people think menopause equals hot flashes, and not just that it equals hot flashes, but that it equals horrible, debilitating, ruin your life hot flashes, which some people do have. My mother, bless her heart, years and years of that. But that's not everyone's experience. About 75% of people have hot flashes. 25% of people don't have them at all. And those 75% who do, they can range from mild to severe, and they can wax and wane. So they may come on, they may go away, may come back. It's hard to know what your experience is going to be, but not everyone has them. So I love that we have so many products and ingredients that address hot flashes, but it's not the end-all be-all of menopause.
There are a lot more symptoms.
Lot more, yes. And then the other thing is actually, will you throw up the slide that I put together? Because I think this will help just a little bit with my other misconception, which is, what does menopause actually mean? Because menopause is a moment in time. Menopause, we use it like it's this all-encompassing term, right? But menopause is that moment in time when it has been 12 months since you've had a menstrual bleed. So that is when menopause happens. Everything after that is post-menopause.
It's just a year.
It's not even a year. It's been 12 months since you last had a menstrual bleed. Menopause has occurred. That's how we define it. So that's it.
Okay.
Everything after that is postmenopausal. We all use the two terms interchangeably, but that's really what it is. And then everything before that time is premenopause, and then towards the end, leading up to menopause, is perimenopause. So I think there's some misconception around what the terms actually mean currently, how they're defined, and how we're using them. And as you mentioned with social media, people are talking about perimenopause and the symptoms a lot more. And so you're starting to hear younger and younger women say, oh, I think I'm perimenopausal. But as we define those terms, right? So we're saying menopause, the average age for that is 51. If perimenopause is about 8 years leading up to that, then we're saying perimenopause starts for most women around age 43. Well, women as young as 30 are reporting symptoms that are perimenopausal related symptoms. And there was a study that came out of the University of Virginia last year where they used data from the Flow app. And actually, this was, I believe, February of this year when this came out. And they found that it's really common for women in their 30s to report symptoms related to perimenopause. And in fact, those symptoms get stronger as you get closer to what's the defined perimenopausal age, but they're happening before that. So my question is, and this is what I'm hoping that science is going to continue to define for us, is there another stage? Is our terminology inaccurate? Is there something else that's going on? And then why you shouldn't listen to everything on social media is other things can cause similar symptoms. So if you are, in fact, say 32 and you're experiencing what you think are perimenopausal related symptoms, maybe talk to your doctor about it and see, is it that or is it something else?
Yeah. That's so long. It's so hard being a girl, you guys.
So hard. It really is.
So let's talk about. I think that's a really interesting opportunity for the industry to like get it right, or maybe do it better than it has been done. That's cool.
Yeah.
So HRT is really maybe the only thing that actually works in helping these symptoms. But like I want to talk about, are there women want natural solutions, particularly now? Particularly there's this like huge appetite for natural solutions. What has evidence? What works?
Yeah. Oh, there's some great stuff. I'm a botanical medicine girl, so I love herbs, and I think there's so many answers for us in plants to help. And one of my favorites, tried and true, been around forever, is Vitex or Taste Tree. It has a lot of research behind it for women's health across ages and stages, but even into menopause, it does help to support progesterone in the body and that balance between estrogen and progesterone. So especially if you have perimenopausal related symptoms that are showing up as worsening PMS, then that might be something that can help with that. It does also support other symptoms, of course, hot flashes. I mean, every single ingredient, like the first thing they report on is hot flashes, right? So that comes up with all of them. But other symptoms, particularly around, say, feelings of anxiety or total menopausal symptoms, Vitex can play a role in there. There's another interesting one that I've recently been reading about, so new to me, but not necessarily new, which is Siberian rhubarb. And so this is an extract that's been used in Germany since the 1950s, and it has multiple human studies on it. Most women experience some improvement in symptoms in about 28 days with this herb. It is a phytoestrogen with good safety data, so another misconception is what phytoestrogen means. It does not necessarily mean you are producing more estrogen. I want to make that very clear. So phytoestrogen just means that it interacts with the estrogen receptors in the body, and so it's kind of a modulator, right? It's not necessarily an increaser. So that's one to consider. It's also a very low-dose herb. So most of the studies show about 4 milligrams once a day, which is a tiny dose comparatively. So as an ingredient that could be in a multi-formula, multi-ingredient formula, or something that could be very tiny for people, I think it's an interesting one that not a lot of people have talked about. And then another one I'll mention in this category is a blend of herbs that have been used in traditional Korean medicine for a long time that includes silk plant, red angelica, and fireweed. And what I think is really unique about this one, it is actually not a phytoestrogen. And so it has different activity. Hot flashes wise, about 62% of users saw benefit with this blend, which is pretty cool. And then there's been varying results for other symptoms around mood, sleep, libido, bone health. So it has some kind of wide range activity, could potentially be paired with other things. And then one more that I just love, which is pycnogenol. Pycnogenol is a great ingredient that has been studied for women's health and various other health concerns for many, many years. Lots of robust research behind it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a high-dose ingredient, which is good because it can be an expensive ingredient. So, but it has a lot of usefulness across the health span.
Thank you. I hope you guys, sorry, we didn't write those down. Good luck to you. This is the best part. I love talking about this because like we're all in it also together, and we get to be like these observers and people in it. I don't know. It's pretty cool that we're like making products for ourselves. I love it. Let's talk about. So you did mention that maybe we have this terminology wrong between premenopause, perimenopause, menopause. What's a girl to do? How are you supposed to know where you are? How are you supposed to know what to pick out? If I'm too young, like should I feel too young to take anything? I feel like many brands and many like we think about this is for a 50-year-old and it's really not. So how do you I guess what do you do to communicate that? How do you make women okay with maybe going through this giant change while they're in their 30s or early 40s?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is you have to find a good healthcare practitioner that really understands women's health and the span of women's health and will be open to hearing your concerns. There was another really interesting study that came out last year where they found that most women are going to their doctor and saying, I'm just not feeling like myself, and that excuse me, is the most reported symptom, right? Not feeling like myself. And then when they looked at it further, women who were reporting, I'm not feeling like myself, were also having other symptoms related to perimenopause and menopause. So if physicians and other healthcare practitioners are just immediately triggered in their brain by a woman saying, I'm not feeling like myself, then we could provide better care overall. So it's a little bit of a tricky thing, but there are some really good resources out there to find doctors now. Again, this is where social media comes in because I think as women, we love to share when we find someone great because we want everybody else to have a good experience too. So tap into your networks, tap into your resources, find a good healthcare practitioner.
What's the really? I imagine at Thorne you might have access to this, but what's really the market size for this? Is it expanding? It's huge.
Yes, huge.
How big is this opportunity for ingredient suppliers and even brands to get into this game?
Yeah, it's huge because first of all, women are the people who are buying supplements for their family anyway, right? So and so if you're tapping into that and you're thinking about how women are feeling in general, what they're experiencing across their health span, and where the focus on products is right now. I think someone mentioned yesterday, it might have been Devin actually, that a lot of the women's health is prenatal vitamins and looking at that period of life and women's fertility, which is great. I'm so glad that we have support and options for that. And then it's sort of like it skips. And then we have stuff for hot flashes. And so there's this whole area in the middle there that is ripe for opportunity and so many other experiences because changes in your hormones. And as you can see, it's a roller coaster, right? It's up, down, and everywhere. And that affects every cell in your body. So you might be experiencing brain fog, or you might be experiencing low energy, or you might be experiencing muscle loss, which is then affecting your metabolic health, right? So it's a huge category with so many opportunities.
And what do you think? So what's the key there for differentiation? So if everyone's like, yes, I'm going to make a perimenopause product, what is that like? That needs to look different. What should that be?
Yeah, I think the first thing is don't try to do too much with one product. And I see that out there a lot. You'll turn the bottle over, look at the label. There are way too many ingredients, maybe not in the studied amounts. And it's hard to really suss out then, especially as a consumer, what is this product going to do for me and what am I targeting? As a practitioner, what's hard about that is how am I going to say which thing is working in my patient, right? And so when you try to do too much with one product, I think you end up with something that's just a little bit too vague and is not as beneficial as it could be. So have clear goals in mind when you are launching in this category and formulate a product around a very clear goal and then start from there. And so maybe for some women, you might need multiple products to feel better until you're ready for hormones, or if you're not going to use hormones until the transitional phase has passed enough that your hormones are balanced again, right? And that might just unfortunately be the way it has to be. We all love one product that does everything, but with this, there's just
wide range of problems.
It is all over the place. Yes.
Okay, well, that's all she wrote today. Thank you so much, Jenny, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Jenny Thorne, everybody. Round of applause.